dance lesson starting to pay off?
You look great, Vivian. Terrific.
A studio executive already had a plan to bury this movie completely. Its own leading man refused to stop dancing on a wrecked knee. A corporate sponsor walked away over a single scene. The actress who became Baby almost wasn't cast at all, and the film's most famous song was found less than a day before they shot it. Now, the real story behind Dirty Dancing. Fact 16. The actress who became Baby lost her own identity to the fame this movie gave her. After Dirty Dancing turned Jennifer Grey into one of the most recognizable faces in America, she went through with 2 rhinoplasty surgeries she'd spent her whole life saying she never wanted, calling herself completely anti-rhinoplasty for years beforehand. She went through with it anyway, worn down, she later said, by an industry that quietly treated her nose as a professional liability. The first surgery didn't go as planned. It took a second one to fix it. By the time both were finished, she looked like a different person. A smaller nose, a different profile, a face the camera no longer read the same way. At a premiere shortly after, her own friend Michael Douglas walked right past her without recognizing her at all. "I went into the operating theater a celebrity," she said years later, and came out anonymous. She never got that fame back. Fact 15. Dirty Dancing almost lost the actress audiences still call Baby. Before Jennifer Grey landed the role, Sarah Jessica Parker auditioned for it. Parker already had her own sitcom, Square Pegs, and had starred alongside Kevin Bacon in Footloose, a far bigger name at the time than the actress who'd ultimately win the part. She didn't get it. The role that would define an unknown actress's entire career had almost gone to someone already on her way to stardom. Fact 14. The movie nearly went into theaters with a title audiences would have laughed at. Producers genuinely worried Dirty Dancing sounded far too suggestive for nervous theater chains to put on a marquee. Their safer alternative, I Was a Teenage Mambo Queen. Writer Eleanor Bergstein had actually grown up competing in real mambo contests, the exact inspiration behind Baby's transformation on the dance floor. That safer title never made it past the pitch room. Try printing that one on a movie poster and selling out theaters with it. Fact 13. One of the film's most replayed scenes was never supposed to exist at all. The moment where Johnny and Baby lip-sync together to Mickey and Sylvia's Love is Strange wasn't written into the script. It came from a warm-up the 2 actors were doing to loosen up between official takes. The director liked what he saw enough to roll cameras on it directly, without ever rewriting a single line for it. One throwaway rehearsal moment, never meant for anyone to see, became one of the most replayed scenes in the entire film. Fact 12. The movie quietly told you exactly who Baby would become. Her real name, Frances, is never just a throwaway detail. She tells Johnny directly that she was named after Frances Perkins, the first woman ever appointed to a U.S. presidential cabinet. A girl raised specifically to admire the woman who broke a political glass ceiling spends the entire film fighting just to be taken seriously herself, by her family, by Johnny, by the whole resort around her. The film never once points directly at that parallel. It simply lets you notice it on your own. Fact 11. The singer behind the film's biggest song almost didn't take the job. Bill Medley was approached early on to record the film's signature duet. His first reaction wasn't excitement at all. He thought the title sounded more like a bad adult film than a hit romance, and neither lead actor had any real box office track record to point to yet, which only made the whole pitch feel riskier to him. He recorded the song anyway, almost as a favor. I've Had It, The Time of My Life went on to win the Academy Award for the very movie he'd nearly passed on entirely, and became the biggest hit of his entire career, bigger than anything he'd recorded with the Righteous Brothers. Fact 10. One rejection quietly handed this movie its most important song. Before Medley and Jennifer Warnes ever stepped into a recording studio together, producers first approached disco icon Donna Summer to record the love theme, pairing her with singer Joe Esposito. She turned the offer down flat, without much hesitation, put off, ironically, by the exact same thing that nearly scared Medley away too: the film's title itself. Her rejection quietly opened the door to the very song that would go on to define the entire soundtrack instead, a decision that likely cost her one of the biggest film hits of the decade. Fact 9. One of television's most recognizable faces spent this entire movie hiding in plain sight. Years before he became Seinfeld's Newman, actor Wayne Knight appears buried in the Dirty Dancing cast list, in a role so minor that most viewers never clock him at all. He'd go on to play one of television's most recognizable side characters, instantly familiar to an entire generation. At Kellerman's Resort, though, he was just another face drifting through the background, years away from delivering the catchphrase that would define his career. Fact 8. Within 24 hours of shooting, the set was broken into and equipment stolen. Catskills flooding then blocked the access roads and wrecked one of the production's own vans. Several crew members were injured on set that same week, and 3 separate cast members came down with food poisoning, all within that exact same stretch of days. Crew members started openly wondering out loud if the production was cursed. And at that point, with a tight schedule and a tighter budget, they still had weeks of shooting left to survive. But the curse wasn't finished yet. It was about to cost one man his own knee, not once, but twice. Fact 7. Swayze refused a stunt double for the dangerous log balancing scene, performed directly above an open ravine with no safety net beneath him. He fell repeatedly, take after take, insisting on doing it himself. Producer Linda Gottlieb later said the fall cost them valuable production time and left everybody on set suffering right alongside him. Doctors had to drain fluid from his knee in the middle of the shoot, the exact same knee that would, weeks later, still have to carry him through the film's biggest and most famous lift. Fact 6. Thousands of vacationers watching this movie had already, unknowingly, been inside Kellerman's. The fictional resort wasn't entirely invented from scratch. Former guests of New York's real Catskills resorts noticed eerie overlaps with the film almost immediately, matching staff titles, identical loudspeaker announcements echoing across the property, even owners sharing the exact same first names as the real-life hotel families who'd run those resorts for decades. Bergstein always maintained publicly that the script came purely from her own childhood memories, nothing more. She never once confirmed, on the record, exactly how close those memories really were. Fact 5. With the finale only a single day away, the filmmakers still had absolutely no song for the climactic dance, and the pressure in the editing room was starting to show. Choreographer Kenny Ortega sat down with a bag of cassette demos sent in by songwriters, tape after tape, searching late into the night for something, anything, that fit. The very last cassette left in the bag finally held the answer. They ended up building the most famous dance scene in movie history around a song they'd found less than 24 hours before they filmed it. Fact 4. One storyline nearly cost the film a sponsor before it even reached theaters. Penny's subplot, involving an illegal abortion that goes badly wrong, was considered far too controversial for mainstream 1987 audiences to sit through. One corporate sponsor pulled their backing over the subplot entirely, unwilling to have their name attached to that storyline in any way. The studio kept the scene in the film regardless of the financial pressure it created. The studio simply refused to blink. It's now remembered as one of the most quietly daring choices buried inside an otherwise lighthearted summer romance. Fact 3. The soundtrack nobody believed in became impossible to stop buying. Released simply as Dirty Dancing, it held the #1 spot on the Billboard chart for more than 4 months straight, without ever letting go. It sold over 32 million copies worldwide, turning a film almost nobody in the industry believed in into one of the best-selling movie soundtracks ever released. But that success almost never got the chance to happen at all. One producer had already decided the exact opposite. Fact 2. After watching an early cut of the film, one producer's verdict was brutal: burn the negative and collect the insurance money instead. Bergstein later said the entire team was told constantly, day after day, that they'd made a negligible piece of junk not worth releasing. That exact footage someone wanted destroyed outright went on to gross over $200 million worldwide. Fact 1. Long before Patrick Swayze ever stepped onto the Kellerman's dance floor, his own mother ran a dance studio and taught him to move as a small child, correcting his footwork long before any camera was ever pointed at him. She later worked behind the scenes on the very film that made him a star, quietly shaping the choreography of the man she had raised to dance. Every step that made Johnny Castle unforgettable started years earlier in his mother's studio, long before anyone on that film set ever thought to call it talent.